Hi everyone, it's Nathan Fan, the Magic Asian Man here. Welcome to my first ever Fashion Friday. So today I'm going to do a hopefully quick video with a little tiny fashion tip for you, a bit of sartorial sense, that sort of thing. Sartorial basically means having to deal with suits. And so I wear a suit every single day. I dress like this every day because I really like the way that it looks. I love looking at the old pictures from the 20s, 30s, 40s, even the 50s, and everyone's wearing a suit and a hat and that sort of thing. And so I strive to kind of do that every single day. Or if you want a more modern reference, like Marty Stinson, just wear a suit every single day. And so I wanted to give you all a little tip. If you wear suit jackets or blazers, sports coats, whatever you want to call them, if you wear a jacket up top like this, I want to give you a quick tip on how to make it look a million times better with less than 5 minutes of time, somewhere around there. And there's an option for no sewing, there's an option for just the tiniest bit of sewing. Do not let it scare you, and trust me, it will be worth it. All right, let's begin. So you've got the jacket, yes, and it looks wonderful. You got it back from the tailor, everything is measured, fits you properly, but you've got this really tiny detail on almost every single jacket you'll ever buy, and it's this right here. This is a hole in your lapel. Some people call this a buttonhole, or a boutonniere hole, or some people call it like a keyhole, I guess, but buttonhole right here. And that's usually where if you have a pin or something, you'll wear it right there. But you'll notice that it is, it's closed. It will almost always be closed unless you buy it from a really, really nice suit place, or you get a custom-made bespoke suit made to your body, and then you can request to have it open. Here's the thing, this is where people used to put flowers in the lapels, right? If you remember at prom, you got to wear this gaudy boutonniere and you had to like pin it on. Well, here's the thing, you can open this, and if you open this, you can just stick a flower in there and it'll look really, really nice. And I'll show you how to do that now. Let me take this off. So this will take just a couple minutes of effort, and it is so worth it. I can't tell you how many, every jacket I own is one of the first things I do when I get it back from the tailor, or if it's made to measure, I just go straight in and do that. All right, so yeah, so you can see here that it's closed, and it's closed on both sides here. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take a nice sharp box cutter or X-Acto knife. X-Acto knife would be safer. I don't have one. I usually just use one of these kind of box cutter dealios. And you're going to very, very carefully here, just kind of start to etch. You gotta make sure it's nice and sharp. So if it's one of these box cutters, break it off so you have a nice clean new one. And if you push just a little bit, watch your fingers, don't stick your finger behind it. But if you just put, oh, there you go, see it went. And if you just aim right between those, you'll notice that it's reinforced for a reason, because it's designed for you to be able to cut open. Now, most people do not cut these open, but we are not most people. We put a lot of effort into the way that we look and dress every single day. So now it's open, which means that you can go ahead and take something like a flower. So this is a silk boutonniere that I got from Fort Belvedere. Makes these. They're amazing. Look at the attention to detail. This is some sort of a orchid. I forget what it's called. I'll look it up later and insert the name. There'll be a link here. I don't get a kickback from this website. I just like talking about them because they look gorgeous. And now you can just put that right into there. Now look how great that looks. Now there's only one problem, and that is that depending on how long this is going to kind of kick out of it. It's going to wobble, which is why lots of jackets have what's called a boutonniere loop. Well, when I say lots of jackets, what I mean is that you can ask a tailor to put one in, or you can put it in yourself. It's very easy. Now let's say you're a man on the go and you've not the time to sew in a loop. Here's a little hack for you. Safety pins, tiny safety pins, all right? Get yourself these little 1-inch safety pins. They don't even have to be that good. Run to the dollar store or something like that. And what you're going to do is back here, so I'll take this back out again. Stick it in here for the time being. What you're going to do is you're going to move down probably about 1 inch. 2 inches, yeah, let's do about 2 inches. And on a similar angle to what the loop is up here, so you see how that angle is, you're gonna match that angle and you're gonna put one a couple inches down here, like that. And then go and do second one. I like doing a couple of these, because with the boutonniere loop, you'd usually have 1 or 2, because sometimes the flowers or the boutonnieres you find are going to be relatively short in length. That one's a bit close, I'll back that off a bit. So notice here that I've got that, and a couple inches down, about a thumb length, and then another, you know, half a thumb length or something. You put this here, and what this will allow you to do now is when you push this through, you can make sure that the stem goes through, and now it won't twist. It's physically incapable of pushing beyond that point, and it'll stay locked in right there. And that'll do the same for actual flowers. So the idea behind this is that you'd be able to pick a flower. You know, you're just out and about and you'd be able to find a flower and you'd be able to pluck it and you'd be able to place it into there. So for instance, let's say I went out just a little while ago and I grabbed one of these. I'm not sure, there's almost like baby's breath. So, you know, some flowers do not have a very long stem, which is why I recommend putting one of those safety pins really close up to the top, like maybe an 1.5 inches, 2 inches away, and then putting the other one a little further down so that it'll cover it if it's shorter as well. So let's take a look at this. This is not something I normally put in a buttonhole, but let's try it. It was kind of what was readily available to me. Put that in there, make sure that this goes through here. Doesn't quite reach that second one, that is fine, because you have that one in there. See, just a little pop. It's an accent. It's like a pocket square, or some people have lapel pins, you know, as well. It's just an accent. It's something to show that you put effort and thought into the outfit, which is what this really boils down to, right? Just showing that you care. Now, the thing about real flowers is that they will kind of wilt a bit throughout the course of the day, so you may want to replace it. But that's fine. But I can't tell you how many compliments I get when I walk around with an actual flower, whether it is a silk one or a real one in my lapel. And you know, if you're walking out and about, it's not hard to spot a nice, pretty flower and find something that kind of anchors into your outfit. Like really a white flower, as long as it's not like a carnation, which is super formal, something you normally wear with a tuxedo. That little pop of, I think that's baby's breath, I'm not sure. Baby's breath right there. See how it adds just a little visual pop into the outfit. And now if I wear it, see how it adds just a nice little bit of a little side thing for you to focus on, a little accent, so that you can look at the outfit and say, oh, look at that color right there, what's that? And I think it's very, very nice and lovely. Just a little tiny accent. Yes, nothing too flashy or flamboyant, you know, something classy and subtle, but still shows that you put some effort into it. Now, the safety pins, in my opinion, is a good temporary fix if you want to do this for real. So this is one of those things where like you want to try it out. Is this for me? Do I like this? Is this too much? Whatever it is, this is a good kind of a test way of doing it. And then once you're ready to do it for real, it'll only take a couple minutes and it's not scary. You can sew what's called a boutonniere loop behind the lapel. So in order to do this, all you need is just a bit of thread. This is much more than you need. In real life, you really only need about 6 to 8 inches, but you know, if you have more, then that's safer. And in this case, I'm using kind of this light pink thread. In actuality, you would want to use a thread that matches, or is darker than the color of your jacket so that it isn't blatantly obvious. But I tried this with a nice navy blue thread and I realized you can't see it. So for demonstration purposes, this nice pretty light pink, all right? Now, I know it's a bit scary. The safety pins will work for most of the time, but there's just something nice about knowing that it's built in and it really only takes a few minutes. You'll see for yourself. And some people are afraid of sewing, but sewing good, sewing friend, sewing neither masculine nor feminine, sewing just useful and necessary life skill, okay? Excellent, so we've removed the flower and the 2 safety pins from the jacket here. You may notice that I have this really cool accent fabric underneath here. Now, every jacket has a material here to give structure, to give some kind of solidity to the collar. Since there's so much, it's constantly touching against your body, it needs more reinforcement. Most of the time it's black or something that blends in. However, this is a made-to-measure suit, which means that I got to pick all the things and it was measured to my body, but it wasn't made, I wasn't present on premises when it was made. It's the step in between bespoke and off the rack. So I got to pick this lovely material so that if anyone ever saw it, they're like, oh, that's cool, but it's still got some blue, so that it kind of is still in the same color family. So here's what you're going to do, all right? You are going to find where this ends, which is, you know, about a 1/2 inch, a little less than a 1/2 inch away. So you're going to measure that same distance away from the edge. You're just going to move down about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, all right? I prefer to keep this first one kind of short because some flowers do not have very long stems. and so I still want that to be able to catch on the boutonniere loop. Now, what you're gonna do here is you don't want this to go all the way through to the other side, right? You don't want that bad, all right? So I'm gonna kind of touch here and keep it through this layer, and just to make sure, I'm gonna separate the two layers here. I'm gonna grab, because this is two layers, you can see, right? I'm gonna grab this end, and that will kind of pucker this up, and that will give me the ability to just give a little, you just want it to kind of barely go in and barely come out again, right? And you're gonna pull that through. There you go, that pink really shows up, doesn't it? And then you're going to loop through this like you're threading the eye of a needle, and you're gonna pull that, and that will lock it in. And then just for good measure, I do just one more. All right. All right, now follow that same angle. You see how the material here actually is, you can see a little tiny cross hatching. So I just follow that cross hatching and I move down a little bit, about a little less than an inch. Do the same thing over here. And you're gonna pull it not super tight, just so that you have a loop here. So if you pull and it starts to kind of pucker a bit, then you know that you've gone too tight. But so just kind of make sure that it's nice and stable. There you go. And now you're going to tie that off. So once again, you're going to push through here, making sure that you're not going through both layers. So holding on this end. Good. And now I'm going to tie this off as a knot as well. Once again, go through that loop you've created and pull that tight without forcing this to go any tighter. If this is a little messy and not everything is pulled tight and perfect, it is not a huge deal, because this is going to be a dark material on the back side of your lapel. So no one's going to see it. So I have a little tiny loop there. That's not a huge deal, right? Then I'm going to go back again. I like to kind of go behind. So I'm not going through the two layers. I'm just going behind it just to give it a nice little wraparound kind of effect, just to kind of have a little extra body to it. So I can find it. I know that it's there. I don't know if this is proper technique or not, but I like doing it. Gives it a bit of volume, a bit of body. And then once again, pull that other side. Come back to the same place you started. So there's just a little 1 inch going at an angle that matches what you have. Anchor it off on one end, double back, anchor it off again. There it is. Now grab your pair of scissors and just snip that off. There you go. And now, so from the front, you shouldn't be able to see that at all. On the back, if you use a matching color thread, it's just a couple inches below, running at a similar angle, and that will be able to catch where it goes through. Now, if you, since you're already here and you're already, just do one more. Do one more a little lower. That way, in case it's a super long stem, you can anchor it in as well. Obviously, if it was a real flower, you could just kind of, cut off the stem wherever you want. However, if you are specifically using a pre-made boutonniere or flower, lapel flower, then you want it to be able to hold no matter what the length. So we're gonna do it one more time, just another 1.5 inches below. So once again, we're gonna move down at the same, right about there. And that should be, yep, that's just going through the one layer. Once again, just go through, thread that hole, move on down, make sure you're not going through both layers. If you do, it's not a huge deal, it's just that sometimes you might accidentally create like a little tiny dimple, something that puckers, and you don't want that. Yep, and then reinforce that to lock it in through the hole. This is kind of not very good quality thread. I bought this at a dollar store, so I'm getting little tiny ribbons, little tiny loops here, but that's not a huge deal. Because once again, it's behind the lapel. No one is going to see it. Wrap around it a couple of times just to be fancy. And then return to the front part. Through the hole, which will anchor that. I feel like that didn't really anchor it that well, so I'm going to do one more because I feel like I did that wrong somehow. Stitch in time saves 9. Measure once, cut twice. No, that's not right. Measure twice, cut once. I was about to say that can't be right. So this one's a little bit more sloppy, a little bit more hastily done. Something. Oh, there it is. There you go. Good. And then just kind of snip that off. Good. And that's it. Now remember, that's going to be a dark thread. It's not really going to show. So you have that. So now when you put your boutonniere through, that'll be able to sit through here. You're just going to lace that through there. And then you'll do it again for the lower end, because this is a longer one, and since this is a wire, this is a green cloth covered wire, I can't snip this nowhere I want to. But now, see, that'll stop it from moving and going too far, and that won't extend past the edge there. Yep, that'll stay tucked behind. Let's check it out with our little flower as well. You'll notice that as the day goes on, this will get a bit flimsier because you have plucked it. It is no longer receiving nutrients from the earth. It's going to get a little bit looser. There we go. Yep, see, so this one isn't long enough to reach that second one, but that first one will hold it. There we go. There it is. And so that is it. That is how to create your own boutonniere loop. You're really only using, because that's less than an inch of thread each time. So that is maybe 1.5 inches of thread total, another 1.5 inches, so that's 3 inches. You give yourself a couple inches on either end. So if you just have a 6-inch loop of thread, you will be absolutely fine. So there it is, you're done. I told you, it really doesn't take that long, and especially since, you know, there's really no way anyone's gonna see that material unless you show it off to them. And what kind of, you know, arrogant person who's desperate and needy for attention shows off that they have a, you know, boutonniere loops. So there it is. Just a few minutes is all it takes. So if you want to, you can sew it in. If you just want to test it out, like I said, just get these little 1-inch safety pins. They don't have to be amazing quality. You know, most of the time when you buy safety pins, they're holding material together, and so they need to be a certain strength. These are really cheap, thin ones that I got from, I think, I don't remember if it was CVS or a dollar store. You know, for $1, you just get a whole bunch of them. Whole bunch of them. That is so much. So that's a quick and easy way. And you just remember, put a couple of those back there, similar angle, a couple inches below. All right, and that will hold any flower or boutonniere that you decide to buy, and it just adds so much, it just changes so much about the outfit, because it gives a little accent for people to look at. It shows that you've put thought into the way that you look, and people really respect that a lot. And you know, it's just, people notice it, they really do. I can't tell you how many times people stop me and they say, hey, I like your flower, you know. They may not know the term, they may not know that it's real, but I know that it's real, and that's just really something for me. I don't need to rub it in their face. That's not what this is about. This is not about saying, look how much better than you I am dressed, behold, bow before me and worship me as your sartorial superior. That's not what it's about, all right? It's about being confident in the way that you're dressed, and when you're confident about the way that you look, it affects the way that you act. And it affects the way that people treat you, all right? And it's not about lording it above their heads or anything like that. That's not what being a gentleman is about. And for me, I just enjoy these little tiny touches. They make me feel good about myself. You know, I like the way that, and I purport myself slightly differently. You know, you'll notice kind of a change in the way that you are. And adding, you know, a blazer to lots of outfits instantly just make them look a little bit nicer. So there you are, folks, in just a few minutes, how you can add this amazing accent to your outfit. And like I said, almost every single jacket I've ever seen, a lot of tuxedo jackets don't have it, but you know, for the most part, you're wearing a tuxedo anyways, so not always necessary. But a lot of blazers, check your blazer, check your sports coat, check your suit jacket. They almost always have that little thing there. Just slice it open, be very careful to not go outside the lines that have been established by the people who made it, all right? And then you can throw the safety pins or the sew in boutonniere loop, and you can add that to your outfit. So there it is. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It was supposed to be like a quick short thing, and I fear I have gone prattling on about too many things. So we'll see. So let me know what you want to learn about in terms of men fashion, whether it is, you know, how to tie a necktie, a bow tie, whether it's about the difference between off-the-rack suits and, you know, made to measure and bespoke, whether it is about, oh, you know what, I also want to do a video that's about collars. Believe it or not, not just this is a double Windsor, right? And this is a bit of a wider spread collar, right? If this were a very narrow collar, that would look a bit awkward. And also how the collar you wear affects your face shape or how it interacts with your face shape. All these things are little tiny details that make a big difference because it's this weird kind of subtle psychology. It taps into this Jungian thing when people look at you and they make those snap judgments. It's based off of these little tiny things that's based off of geometry and the interaction of shapes and facial shapes and shoulder widths and all these sorts of things. So expect more things about that. If there's something about what I've said that jumps out at you in particular, or if there's something about men's fashion you've always wanted to know about, feel free to comment below. I hate saying like, comment, and subscribe or whatever it is, but if you want to subscribe, fantastic, please do. So every single day it's going to be something different as part of my creative quarantine, which is a term I borrowed from some mates, not sure if it's theirs or not. I'll have to do some research about that. But every day is something different. So if you want to, subscribe. If not, cool, there's plenty of other stuff for you to find on YouTube. Go down that rabbit hole, see how deep it goes. It goes real deep. And then if you feel, I always love reading what people have to say. Feel free to comment. I've been doing this YouTube thing for a while, so I mean, if you want to say something horrendously racist, feel free to do it. I'm just gonna flag you and remove your comment. So feel free to check out those links. Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to share. If you don't, it's not the end of my world, but I would really appreciate it. And hopefully, maybe there's someone else in your life who would appreciate seeing this kind of stuff. So thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. I hope this video wasn't too long. We'll see how it turns out in the editing. But I will see you tomorrow. And as always, stay tuned and stay healthy. Thanks so much, everyone. See you around. Bye.